Hey guys, we are live. This is episode 291 of the Option Podcast. That looks like Allison McColloch, NCAA All-American, AVP standout, NCAA coach, and she's all about that love, and spelled LOVB. Buckle up, people. The episode starts right now. It's good, Ollie.
Hey, how's it going, Jason?
It's it was regular until 10 o'clock Pacific time. Now the room temperature changed, and now everything is different. Now, everything just got a little bit better because life gets a little bit better when you have Allie McColloch in our lives. You have Allison McColloch in our lives. That's it. What else do you guys need to know? The ball of positive energy, super athlete, even better human being. How's Kevin?
You're so kind. He's awesome. He's actually at a high school camp right now. They're running a camp at our high school, and scouts in the camp. She somehow convinced him to let her be in the camp this year. But she is 8 now, so she really wants to start playing volleyball a little bit. And we're like, okay, it's just at parks and like rec camp. So
Yeah. Well,
the high school girls run it, so they're really pumped. They're doing that. She was like ready at 7:30 a.m. with her knee pads on. I don't even know where she found knee pads. She doesn't have any, but she knew where some were. She put them on. It was really cute. They're doing great.
This is indoor.
This is indoor, yeah.
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 All right, cool. So I'm glad you said that because I'd like to start this episode by saying this. Parents, I know that some of you parents are freaking maniacs and you want your kid to play because you played, right? And for the parents that want the kids to find their own way, I salute you. But I'm also going to leave you this piece of advice. Your kid must play 1 hour of volleyball a week. You know, because you know why? Because when they turn 11 or 12 or 13, if they change their mind, or should I say when they change their mind, you don't have to teach them how to play. They're already gonna know how to play. So nothing buck wild, right? Just 1 hour a week. So this way they know how to play. And because Braxton, her sport is tennis, but she's doing USYVL. You know, she'll do that.
Yeah, Scout, it's funny because like obviously we have the volleyballs everywhere, and so she's used to being around it all the time. So she's either, like peppering, setting against the wall. She's doing all the things. We're trying to stay out of the like organized club sports scene until she's developed her technical skills a little bit more, and she really, we just want her to do it for fun up until she like decides she wants to really compete and play at a high level. Then we'll maybe invest a little bit more. But right now she's like soccer, flag football. I'm very, very into the multi-sport athlete. I think we all know that is, more beneficial for athletes as they get older. They don't burn out, and it keeps the sport fun.
Yeah, speaking of keeping the sport fun, I was trying to bring myself up to speed about LOVB because we talked about it before. But since I have someone who has a lived experience, and even though sometimes appealing to authority is a fallacy, today it's a necessity. So take us through what is LOVB. The floor is yours, my dear.
Oh, okay. Well, League One volleyball we're going on our 3rd season for the pro side. It also has a junior attachment to it. So it's a community-based league. Some people have there's a lot of misconceptions about how it functions, where the money goes and all that stuff. I won't get into that, but it was created to have this community where we could have young athletes have something to look up to and model to and be a part of within their own gyms, right? So not only that, but to obviously bring pro to the United States, bring all those like high level athletes back home where they could be here, have their families. I think it was really special. And I mean, it's weird to bring to because I played overseas and I know the brutality of being over there for 8 months. You don't see your family. You know, and if you're really not that person who can do that, it's really, really challenging. So to be able to have something in the States where you can be next year, you know, your mom and dad can come watch you play. You can actually have children and then go back and play. We have lots of athletes right now on our pro tour that are, you know, have had kids, are coming back to play the next year. And or they currently have kids right now and they're still playing, which I think is just phenomenal to be able to do that. And that's something you really can't do overseas. That and also have medical care, insurance, benefits, all those amazing things. So that first and foremost with the pro side is just an incredible accomplishment and what these athletes are able to do. The youth side, I think, is really, really, unless you're in it, you don't see it as much. A lot of people look at it as, you know, oh, it's just to make money for pro and things like that, which is completely the opposite of what that is. Everything in club stays in club, and the athletes are benefiting tremendously through the resources. There's coach development resources, there's athlete resources, mindset training, whole athlete training is what they call it. And it's led by Courtney Thompson, who we all know is phenomenal setter, Washington, All-American, USA, you know, like she's got all the accolades and she's the most incredible person and human. And she's in it for all the right reasons. And so she runs our whole athlete training, which is part of what I think we were just talking about earlier is how do we help these young athletes continue to love the game? How do they continue to have confidence in themselves when they play? And all those things are resources that Love is giving to these coaches, to the clubs, to the programming to help develop the athletes. And I think that piece is really important that a lot of people miss. They see it as, oh, it's a money grab and all that stuff. And you hear it all the time, private equity money and things like that, which I think is, you know, the people that are in this are, obviously there's an investment in business as everybody, you know, club volleyball, aside from that, is an investment. It's a business. But at the same time, you have people in it that are leading the charge with creating a better environment for the athletes. I have seen teams and clubs connect that used to be like straight up enemies on the court that are now, they're collaborating together. They're going to each other's tournaments. They're actually sharing knowledge, volleyball knowledge that makes our entire sport better. And that's part of the community of League One volleyball. You know, like why people join Love, there's a lot of different reasons, but I think one of the biggest things for us and one of the reasons why I joined Love was to be a part of something much bigger. And that is to build that community, give these athletes something to strive for past college in the US. And beyond that, it's not even just playing volleyball, because let's be honest, statistically, we all know the statistics on getting to college, a percentage, right? We understand that. It's not like we're guaranteeing you're going to play in college. We have recruiting, like national recruiting coordinators that work with recruiting coordinators in the clubs to help better their opportunities, but it's still on the athlete to get themselves there, right? Like we just give them a little bit of extra help and showing them the right process, like how you can maybe be seen a little bit better by coaches. There's just resources that are available that weren't previously available to, you know, a lot of times it's available to the high athlete, but it's not available to maybe those that aren't very knowledgeable in the sport, in club, in knowing like how do you get recruited, those certain things like that we bring resources to. And that's all part of the ecosystem. So it is a large ecosystem from youth to pro. And beyond that, like I was saying, like me, I work for Love. I played club, I played indoor, I played overseas, I played beach. And when my career ended and I was a college coach, I still wanted to be a part of volleyball, but I knew my coaching I was kind of done coaching. And so when I found Love, that was a way for me to continue to be a part of the sport without coaching or playing. And there's lots of opportunities within Love, whether it be at a club, the pros, now that we have like 12 different pro sites, there's lots of opportunities for former athletes to actually have a career in their sport. Maybe they're not playing anymore or they're not at that level to be able to, but we're creating jobs for the volleyball community. So that's another piece that I think doesn't get seen as much. And and we have lots of former athletes a part of Love staff. And I work with some incredible, absolutely amazing club directors and coaches that, you know, are still doing it to help those young athletes out. And it's pretty amazing to be a part of.
Well, I mean that's a heck of an answer because as a professional podcast, you left so many directions I could go with that. But I wanted to start with echoing your sentiment of nobody's primarily in this for the money, right? If someone makes money from it, fine. You know,
Right.
like I always say, my wife Kelly, who you know, always warned me never be so good at something where you're doing it for free. I mean, right? This is what you want to do. I mean, yeah. I
Talk
mean,
about that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got. I just want to be real about that. But I think anyone that thinks that we or you are in this solely for the money is I reject that notion, and they're sadly mistaken because there are better ways to make money, right? You were doing paralegal stuff and you were contemplating law school
Right.
and you know having your tall presence and you know in the middle of a courtroom and have the jury be wowed by you. I mean, please, you get a win just walking in the door. So Kelly's like, what are you doing, Jay? No, but I'm glad I wanted to start there because there was never a lot of money, and let's say there was, so what? So what, right? Especially for the players, there is no way I should be making more money talking about volleyball than the players do playing volleyball.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean, I set up my NY varsity thing at Huntington, right? That you watched, the Kolinskis watch. Everyone tuned in, and like, I didn't, you know, I never used the super chat, but I made more money from like one match than like calling a match, and that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Look,
Yeah.
there's a space for me in it because I love I love what I do and I think I'm good at it. But
Right.
let's give something back to the players. Let's stay with LOVB. LOVB. Sorry, I almost said LAVBC.
They do have an LA team now, though. So,
Because that's Jason Olive.
yeah.
um, no, but so the league. I noticed you guys are in a bunch of different cities. You're in Atlanta, you're in LA, you're here in this. So is LOVB its own league, or do you guys front and sponsor a team that play in a professional league? How does that work?
No, it's its own league. So last year we had
Whoa.
six teams, different states. Texas, we had two, in Houston and Austin, and we have Nebraska. You know, gosh, the new ones are LA, San Francisco. I believe Miami was announced, Minnesota, and then I think those were at the four new ones. And if I'm forgetting, because we're adding them so quickly, which is amazing because there's, you know, the want and the need, and we're really excited about that. I think the pro side is growing that league, and we're getting the athletes wanting to play in it. And I think too because we're taking care of them. You know, like gosh, you know, like how it is. We used to talk about it all the time. I really, my heart hurts for these athletes. You know, beach, indoor, and it's still a very small percentage. So the more teams we have, the more opportunities these amazing, incredible athletes have to play in the States, and we get to watch them play. Like these, I mean, I felt like I was a pretty good player. I was strong, but I walked into the Salt Lake City Love team practice, and I was just blown away by the athleticism, the strength, the just pure discipline too of these athletes, and they're international too. They're not just U.S. players. We have international players on the teams, and it's such a high level to watch and appreciate. I think there's, you know, arguments about the entertainment side of it. I know we're working on that side, but man, just for pure volleyball sake, you can't get it anywhere else like this. This is a very high level of volleyball to watch, and for our young athletes to be able to sit front row, get to meet these girls, see some of them. So a lot of our pro teams, I think almost all, I don't know one that's not, is attached to a club team, like in the sense that they just work out of the same facility. So we call them, or they have called them in the past, anchor clubs, right? We don't really use that as much because it could be we have multiple clubs maybe in one gym possibly at some point. But these girls actually get to see and come to like a practice. It's in their gym. They get to watch these girls see what they do to become how good they are. And that's something that you cannot get anywhere else. And that's also going back to being part of a love, athlete. It's incredible to have that opportunity.
Who did you aspire to be when you were playing volleyball?
Oh my
I mean, because
God.
you just opened the door. Like when you get these kids that they're wowed by certain players or whatever. Like in 1988, I watched Steve Timmons play. And the first competitive volleyball match I ever watched at all was the '88 Olympics. It was a 5-setter against Argentina. Timmons didn't really have a good game. They were down 2-0, and they came back and won the next 3. Things that they, on the way to a gold medal, things that they don't talk about, like things that could have gone another way. And I saw the spiky hair, and I just saw him hit like a ton, just like as hard as a ball could possibly be hit, right? And that's saying a lot. Yeah. So who did you So yeah, mine was was Timmons. There was just something really rad about the guy,
Yeah, I grew up in a small town, Grass Valley, Northern California. So we didn't have a ton of exposure to volleyball. Obviously, there wasn't social media. There wasn't, I didn't get my flip phone until I was like 16, 17. So what I had was my mom got me a Gabriella Reese book. So like I had the Gabriella Reese book, and I had watched some video from her, and then of course Logan Tom was like a big one for me.
Do you still have the book?
I don't have the book. No, that's actually great. I'll actually get that one.
Hold on, writing that down.
Write it down. The Gabrielle Reese had the book, and I just remember, because I was a multi-sport athlete. I didn't pick up volleyball until and especially club volleyball until I was around 13, 14. So
Which in California is a late bloomer. Sorry.
Yeah, right. These girls were playing so early. Like there's like club kids year round playing at like 9, 10. But I played baseball with my brother until I was 14. I played Little League All-Stars. Like I was on the TOC team. I played basketball as a swimmer. I did track. I was just 5 sports up until high school, and then I narrowed it down to 2 because you just time. And I was just basketball, volleyball in high school. And so I really my first love was Michael Jordan. That was like my guy. And then after that, sorry, there's someone at my door.
Sorry.
And then after that, it was when I got into volleyball. It was Gabriella Reese and Logan Tom. And I just remember watching Logan Tom as an outside hitter. And like she was so smooth, the all-around player, could do everything. And that was something that I was always told as a kid, is if you can play everything, then you want to make yourself indispensable. And that's one of the things I started to be, because when I was 13, I wasn't allowed to play back row because I was so tall. I was towering over everybody, so I got stuck in the middle. I'm like, Mom, I want to play back row, I want to pass, I want to serve. And she's like, we'll get better than the person that's back there. And that's all I did, is I went and I started, paying attention to the who's really good at this stuff. So that's who I was striving to be. And I think it's important for kids to have dreams like that. And sometimes we get so stuck in our phones and our, although I do think it's great because we do have a lot of great influencers in the volleyball community. Obviously Harper Murray is a great one. And Olivia Babcock, I think she's an amazing, incredible person, and the way that she speaks to the sport and the way that she speaks to just life in general, and creating a positive environment around your confidence and your body and your strength and your, those things I think are huge for young athletes to be able to see right now. Especially with all the other noise that's out there for them to watch. How do you balance that?
Well, from a social perspective, I'm what you would call a free speech absolutist, right? And I think the best way to beat bad speech is good speech, right? So, like the kids with their phones and the noise, to me, the best way to drown the noise is not to take away the noise entirely. It's to combat it with good noise. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if they're attached to their phone, maybe they should be attached to their phone watching LOVB. Maybe they should be attached to their phone watching Logan Tom, right? It's just, it's
Yeah.
very much, look, I'm older than you, but it's very much the same way that TV, growing up watching TV could be garbage or it could be
Right.
something, right? Like
Yeah.
without TV, I'm not watching Steve Timmons. I'm not whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no, nobody, you know what? Nobody wanted like a lefty from Brooklyn with an attitude who's 250 pounds who played football, right? I bought a book and coached myself. I bought AVCA, American Volleyball Coaches Association Handbook,
Yep.
written by Doug
Yeah.
Beal and two other coaches, and learned the 4-step approach, got fingerprints on the ceiling, just,
Yeah.
yeah. And 3 years later, I'm playing overseas. So, because I was, very much like you, I was what you call a super, like a all sport, like a super athlete, like
Yeah.
long arms, barrel bodied, but but yeah, contemplate, riddle me that, like don't don't remove the noise, replace it, you know.
Replace it with good. Yeah.
Yeah, and from a
I,
religious perspective, let's say you're a religious person, right? Like you need to get demons out. If you get the demons out and you don't replace it with something good, you know what's going to happen? The demons are going to come back with
yeah.
like, and call two friends, and then you're worse than before. That's if you're a religious person, which by the way I'm not. Just an example. Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Allie.
No, no, I think you're spot on. We obviously everyone has their, thoughts and opinions on the social media and kids. I mean, I do ours is like scientifically for like screen time and like what it does to your brain with our kids. We're like they don't need that, but when they do get it, like when they, are watching TV or they like my daughter, right? Like she's perfect example, loves cooking, loves art, loves drawing, and she's
How old
very
is she?
creative. She's 8.
All right, go ahead.
And so we, like books are great. We've got our books, but it's, we know there's going to be a challenge with the social media. Like we have all the parents telling us, yeah, you're going to keep it away from them. Just watch. I'm like, it's not really the social media. Like I don't mind keeping that from them. I want them to have access to technology. Like I want them to learn. I think that's important. Like we have to evolve. We have to know how to use it. AI, like I don't want them to get left behind. But like you said, I want to control what they're seeing. I want to make sure they have positive things that are influencing their life and they're not seeing the garbage. Like you said, TV was the same way. Like our parents wouldn't let us watch the garbage growing up. It would get turned off or we just knew we weren't allowed to. It's the same with my kids. And like you guys, you can go on YouTube. I will search it. I'll put all the parameters. You can look up the how to draws. She likes to do that and things like that. But you're not going to be allowed to do all that other stuff that I think isn't going to be a positive influence
Right.
for you and your development as a kid.
But I think you
And
also have to change what you want them to look for, right? Again, I'm going back to my age.
yeah,
There was no cable back then. We only had like 9 channels. It was channel
great.
2,
Yeah,
4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13, right? And if you have
yeah,
the UHF antenna, you could watch some Spanish stuff on channel 41 and 47, right? So,
yeah,
and you know what we did? And I don't want to sound like an old fart. I'm not that guy. I swear to you.
good,
But
good.
if there was something on TV we didn't like, we got up because there was no remote control, and we went to the knob because the TV had a knob, and we turned the channel, right? So
Yeah,
now that was then, right? Fast forward to today, you have so many options to turn away from that, but yet they're glued to it, and yet we're glued to. I don't like to use the word train wrecks because I like train wrecks. I'm just my thing, but
um,
metaphorically speaking. But my point is when or my question is, when did we lose the ability to just turn the channel? We only had
yeah,
7 choices or 8 choices back then. You have 900 choices, and we choose to enter these spheres of non-productiveness. Maybe I don't know.
yeah. It's a weird one, and I'm sure there's like so much, behind it. They've done probably a lot of studies on it and things. And as you know, like how short have the programming has gotten. It's like, 20 minutes, the span the kids can like last. I was so stoked the other night when my kids were like into watching. We watched the new like Third Homes. What is it? Why am I blanking on it? But like the Sherlock Holmes stuff and like mystery puzzles. But they have it now with like Millie Bobby Brown, and I am so blanking on the name. But I was like shocked because it's an hour, like almost 2 hours, and my kids watched it. They're so into the puzzles and the games and like solving problems. I'm like, this is so cool that you guys watch this. And it's a little worried because it's PG-13.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is way better than the like stuff they wanted to watch, I was just stoked that they could last that long. And I feel like we got away from that. It's so, like you said, it's so easy for them to just like flip, 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 turn, social media, scroll, find the garbage, and they're attracted to it. I mean, okay, perfect example is how many people are so attracted to the fighting on the WNBA? Like, how often do you see the really great things that come through your feed? Mm-hmm. And I watched a Fever game. I went in Indianapolis. I went to the Fever game to watch Caitlin Clark. Again, phenomenal athletes. These are stud athletes. But what they choose to portray is the behavior of like fighting, and because that is what sells, and that's the entertainment side of it that is really hard to swallow, is that's what makes money.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a challenge, like the kind of take away from the sport side. It's like why we are all attracted to like UFC, like the fighting and the controversy, the drama. It's I don't know why. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I think we're addicted to train wrecks. I mean, if like fighting, I'd like to have our addiction to train wrecks and fighting as separate entities, but no, it's included but not limited to. And I think you're making a valid point. You go to a hockey game, right? Or you're watching, let's say I want to know who won the Rangers game. If there was a fight in the hockey game, the first thing that's going to show up on our highlight reel is the fight. We change as a culture. I'm not trying to say enlist as many purists as you can, right? But what I am saying is, if you make the actual game as exciting as the other, there will, on its worst day, be a balance, or on its best day, be this evolution, this slow grinding, inconvenient change, right? So, because I'm a huge mixed martial arts fan, but mixed martial arts has rules. There's certain things you can't do, and when you watch people work around that with a skill set, that's a sport, and it's amazing. But we don't want the WNBA to be. I'm not trying to go on TikTok and look for the most recent confrontation. Yeah. I want to see her. I want to see someone not guarding Caitlin Clark after she passes the half court, and she's like, "No one's guarding me at half court. 1, 2, 3, swing!" Boom. That's why Jordan was your guy growing up, right? I mean, Don Mattingly was mine. He's just a pure. Right. He was impossible to strike out, left-handed, first base, very tough position to play.
But I love the balance of like, I mean, we know there's always an argument, but like back in the day, like the NBA was brutal. But it was also like there's a level of respect I think that was had.
Yes.
Like the game itself was pretty brutal, and they let it go. But there was also this, like, you had to be so good at your craft and like the defense. And then you also had the factor of like, there was this little like, swagger that a lot of the NBA players had that wasn't like ego or like spite, or they weren't like angry, but they were just like, yeah, I'm good. I know I'm good. I'm gonna close my eyes and shoot a free throw. Like
that was great. To Mutombo, right? You did the Mutombo. Jordan did that to Mutombo.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that there was like that level of entertainment from the athletes was so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And here's a question I pose, like, this is one of the things I kind of have with beach volleyball, right? Like, I love beach volleyball, and I was never privy to get to experience it back when it was huge. And, you know, but I watch like all of the old films. I love that they're putting that out there now to kind of show like, hey, this is what it used to be without the stadiums, without the stands. You're just massive fans like surrounding the court. Sorry, Dash. Hi, Dashy.
What up, Dash?
No shirt.
Jeez,
like
at least Kevin McCulloch's here in spirit.
Yeah.
That's not the spitting image of Kevin right there. Sorry,
I know. He's got the hair. But like, I was entertained watching these old school videos because of the athletes and letting things go a little bit, right? Letting them have their emotions, letting them, and I say that because I mean, obviously, sometimes it went too far, but you fans used to get pretty crazy. But the sport used to be less like rigid and strict, and they used to let them have personalities. And I don't know if that's a factor because we've changed and evolved so much, you know, like there wasn't as much to do a long time ago. Like we didn't have the phones, we didn't have all these other things you can kind of like go to. So beach then was like, that's what you did. Like you went and you like drank beers and you watched volleyball, but it was
like every other sport, right? Like every other major, think about it. Like every other major sport had that. And we,
Right.
and again, we didn't, I think the rigidness happened twofold. One, we as coaches, we taught our players that for every 5 points you get emotionally high, you're going to give up 8 or 9 on the low. Big waves crash. So be excited, but not too excited, where that allows your wave to go from Manhattan Beach Pier to Hermosa Pier, right? So we're asking these people to play emotionally and even keeled. And sometimes, and we both agree there's more than one way to skin a cat. We can't, that might not apply to everybody. If you look at Fallon Moana, right? Mm-hmm. She is loud and she is herself from play one all the way to the end. And she defies that coaching philosophy. In fact, we need to dissect her like a frog and understand how that works. How does someone like that do that from play one? I'm not even using like the highest level player. I'm using like she's not running the mill. She's better than most. But my point is, those players back then were personalities that can ride their emotions to the end. In games, side out games. Inside out games, plenty left in the gas tank. Didn't train like Terrell Owens or like Tom Brady. These guys didn't train like elite athletes. Just to be real, they didn't. They were just, their training was on the sand. Their training was enough, and you know what? And that's their wheelhouse, right? Because we know like LeBron James or Terrell they'd cramp up after 2 matches. It's a different kind of athlete, right? So we ain't asking them to come to our space. So that's one way it happened. And the second way it happened was, and this is where I hold the old school accountable, when it was time to pass the baton, they took the money and ran. Let's just be real. I mean, this is we're going to give them their flowers because they, without them, there was no possibility of what beach volleyball could be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they didn't. No, who passed the baton? We can count them on one hand. Who passed? None of them. None of them. Close enough to none of them, where there's like 2 or 3 that will take exception to that. Like I respect what St. John's doing and certain other people, but who gave back? All they're doing is sitting on their perch, crapping on, talking about this back in the day stuff, right? Talking about how we got it wrong. We need to go back to the way it was, and no, we need to take the good things of the way it was and run with it. So that's just my point,
Yeah. No,
But this is connected to LOVB, so this is why I'm spinning it this way. So keep going.
It's funny because like, there's always, I think in everyone in the back of their minds is like, because a pro league has never been successful, like a volleyball pro league. And I mean, when I say successful, like sustainable, right? Like financially sustainable. That's always been the problem with the AVP. There's like a lot of money backing it and they're not making any money. And then by one point, somebody gets tired of putting the bill and they pass it on to the next person and they go bankrupt, one of the two. And so like there's always the question that everybody has and wonders is like, is it going to be sustainable? Is pro volleyball in the United States, women's or otherwise, beach, going to be sustainable? Because if you look at the numbers, like I think we have really smart minds behind it, and they are working like tirelessly on the entertainment side.
Maybe for LOVB, you got sustainability, so you might be right in that respect. But no, we have open level players, but we don't have open level ideas, and we don't have people that can tell a story.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in like the model that we have in terms of like the flow. I think that, like I am the first, being transparent is always important. That's always like one of the things that I hold near and dear is I'm totally transparent. There's all those things like MLV is more fun to watch than love, right? Like that's like goes back. Everyone's like, it's more entertaining. Have you been to like an MLV, Major League Volleyball, or it was Professional Volleyball League, PVL? They're basically one and the same. They just switched over.
Right.
But the consensus is the entertainment for the fan is better at MLB than at a love game.
Okay.
The entertainment, not the volleyball. I think it's pretty clear the volleyball is better at League One volleyball. The entertainment side is where, like, as far as the fan experience and the like, what is the extra stuff going on, and the fun part, essentially non-volleyball related, because if you're a volleyball fan, the fun part's the volleyball. Like that stuff is straight up great.
We're purists, like
right? But how many? If you're looking at it, trying to get fans who don't know volleyball, that's where I think like, and I know Love is probably taking that. I'm not on the pro side doing all that side, but I do know that they're trying to create a better fan experience. They're working on that like really heavily, because that's an important piece to making it sustainable.
Well,
you got to get fans in there paying to watch, so pro can be sustainable.
Well, ding, ding, ding. Open level ideas here, so, and from a guy who knows how to tell the story. For me, letting people be themselves is foundational. It's paramount. It should be volleyball religion. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something that I always thought about, but I never put on the front burner like you did. Them being themselves also has to be organic, because the audience is always one step ahead of you, right? Like I remember Lauren Bacall said, the actress, black and white film actress, who I interviewed from one of my term papers in college. She said, the audience is always one step ahead of you. If someone has a gun to your face, the audience already knows you're afraid. You don't have to make faces, right? So understand your environment. If you're in an environment that has cameras where people are watching, a bigger audience watching from home, what the camera catches. First of all, you got to have open level camera people catching, because you can have something really, really cool that happened, but if they're not pointing the camera, nobody cares and no one knows. So got to have open level production people, right? But if it's a venue that's more crowd driven, then the character has to, has to do it in a way that's organic and themselves, because we, as not just volleyball purists, but just sports people that like to watch sports, is like, that's fake. That's fake. Like, you ever see LeBron James like take a flop, right? And then he's laying on the ground and he did this with his eyes with the camera. Do you remember that? He was on the ground. He was holding his face, but he did this to see if people were watching him. The camera picked that up. And it wasn't fake. He was telling everybody who he, at least at that moment, right? And this is one of our GOATs, right? Who he was. So I think we have to find a balance. If we try to go back to the way it was, then we have to collectively accept that beach volleyball will be a permanent underclass. Just say never. Don't pay for events. Allow these guys to sit in their lawn chairs with the white hair on their chest, screaming, "Get off my lawn!" When I'm like, dude, we're on the beach, relax. And just accept that beach is going to be a permanent underclass. Indoor volleyball, again, I'm going to appeal to authority. I'm going to appeal to the lived experience, because you have something that's original, that's new, and more importantly, sustainable. And clearly, indoors go in a different direction, right? Where you got 93,000 people jamming in an outdoor stadium to watch Wisco play Nebraska. How about that? Yeah. You know, was there a country music concert afterward? Yes, but no country music singer is gonna sell to 93,000 people, right? And see, in every cable network, women's volleyball is the third most watched sport, only behind men's basketball and men's football. That is something. You know, so all they got to do is stop changing the damn rules every year, because I
know.
All right, we got to allow 30 more seconds for this. 40 people in a room saying they rigorously debated on this rule change and not checked with hundreds of thousands of other competent coaches, players, or whatever is ridiculous. And if you know, the rationalization is always historically the same. It speeds up the game. That's my favorite one, even though there's no evidence to support that. And it makes the game more exciting. So you got some old dude with two marbles rolling around in his head doing this, and everybody else is scared to say something. They're like, yep, he says it. He's the authority, so we're all going to do it. Don't change what's working. It was the third most viewed sport, or whatever. And the NCAA's litter ESPN, right? I mean, beach volleyball, we're getting cornholes. I saw pillow fighting. I saw the professional pillow fighting championships. Two dudes swinging a pillow at each other, dude. I mean, what do we...
Isn't that one of the things that you like come on the channel before you see beach volleyball?
But Allie, I watched it. I'm guilty. I watched it.
It wasn't good. Was it good? Like pillow fighting? I know, right? Brought you back to childhood. You're like, oh, pillow fighting. Who's going to win this one? Oh, that was a good throw.
I just said that on live. I just said that live. I watched it.
To the game.
But
you're watching, I mean, there's like that table tennis, spike ball stuff, like variations of volleyball. Why we can't get people to enjoy?
Because no one tells the story.
I will also put it on the record for watching volleyball, and more importantly, like to me, like in what I'm in is, I truly think that beach is really hard, right? Like, but we have all these players indoors that are young, and there's really the barrier to entry to beach is really hard at a young age. Like it just is. Like 2v2 is challenging. How many of us love watching the Manhattan Beach Six Man? Me, I love it. In it, love it all the time, because it's entertaining, but also like you have crazy good athletes that are like older, retired, and they're still able to go out and smash the ball, and you have like this community of volleyball that's pretty cool. But it's 6v6, so it's like it's pretty fun to watch because the rallies are long.
It's basically a community meets a vanity project, right? Does that get national exposure? No. It's something for us. Right. Yes. So sorry. I just want to make sure that's what we're talking about here.
I mean, people would fly national exposure. No, but like, do people know about it nationally? Yes. In the volleyball community.
Right.
But 4v4, like, why have we not explored barrier to entry to beach volleyball? Because, it's juniors is huge, right? Like, indoor volleyball, where USA Volleyball used to be like one convention center hosting all the divisions in one time frame, 1 week.
Right.
Now it's spread out over like 3 weeks, different age groups in different cities, different convention centers, because they have that many kids that play the sport. The barrier to entry to indoors, a lot easier than the barrier to entry to beach. Obviously more opportunities in college, but it's still the like 1%, like for D1, it's maybe I think 2.5% or something like that. Get a D1 scholarship.
Right.
Still small percentage, and you still have a mass amount of kids like playing. Beach volleyball, you don't see a lot, like the 12U struggles. It's like a struggle to see those 12U tournaments, except for maybe in Southern California, you have more of them. But even then it's like, you talk to a lot of the major clubs, and 12U is a hard one to get because you put them out in the sand at 12, and like 2v2, it's like serve ace.
I mean,
past. I
no
can't.
different than indoor sixes, though, right? I mean, how much more different than indoor sixes?
I think at least you get more rallies. You get more back and forth a little bit, and it's an easier movement pattern. Obviously, you're not in the sun, you're not in the elements as a younger kid, like which my kids, I would say, suck it up. You're outside, be outside.
Yeah, throw some sand on your
But I
face.
think like a 4v4 for the youngers, like a barrier to entry to beach of some kind would be more entertaining. But like look at Seaside. They have a 4v4. It's the biggest youth like beach event in the country. Not a club thing, just one tournament, but it has the most youth kids in a tournament. Most of them aren't playing club at a high level for beach. They play indoors. They get a group of 4 to go out and play beach. And that's like the only time they play. They're
Right.
not like a ton of like, clubs that play in it. So it's like just I want to go out and play and have fun.
There's that.
I think that's like the piece too, It's like how do you get people to like know how fun the sport is if it is really hard to like get out there and play. So I don't know. I am I would be on the train for watching a 4v4, especially on the pro side. I love watching fours. They have some of the tournaments in Hermosa that they run. I even liked when, like they have Fourth
Yeah, it
of
was
July
great.
4-mans that we play in. There's just a lot of 4v4 that in the grass tournaments are blowing up, which is like 4s, 6s.
Yeah.
Doubles are pretty good too, but I just think the more people you have to create that like fun team environment where kind of more chaos happens. I don't like, more things entertaining can happen in that group of 4 than just the 2.
Or even
But yeah,
threes, like Wapaka. Wapaka has an AVP professional beach tournament in Wapaka,
right.
but that's not
3,
the feature. The
no,
feature is grass threes.
grass, 3.
The feature, yeah, I agree
But
with
that's
you.
because that's more. I think that's more entertaining. It's also again like more people feel like they could play threes
Mm,
too. I think, and it gives them a little. They want to watch it more because they're like, oh, like I can play this.
right.
2v2 is a little bit hard for me. So and it's a weird rant, but I still am waiting for someone to run a 4v4 tour, like of
I'm
some kind, and have like teams.
I'm
I like the league concept. I just don't see it on the beach. Why not just you're indoors, you pull sand in, just might as well watch indoor volleyball. Like,
it's a tree that falls in the woods, and this is my greater point. There's no one there to tell the story, right? Manhattan Six is
yeah,
so big you can't even see beach. All you see is sand, lines, and on the outside of the lines just bodies, just people. So if you did like a drone shot, you would think it was a sandbox and not the actual beach because all the courts are surrounded by people. So there's people and there's sand in the court. And this is huge event nobody knows about, outside of the zip codes, and no one tells the story.
yeah, and who are they relying to tell the story? Like, and again, like I'm a little maybe I have some
It's a
too close.
vanity project. They don't care about the story. They care. They're there
They're
because
right. Yeah,
it's a clique. It's a pecking order. They get to play against each other, which by the way is wonderful. It's a volleyball community thing. Like Central Park has that in New York.
yeah.
We have it. We have it every weekend. So or they have it every weekend.
But
So
from like the pro side, one of the things that I think pro is doing very well on, but on all like for both love and MLB, obviously I see more of love than I do of the other.
right.
But I think they're doing a phenomenal job of like they're not making the athletes be the ones to have to tell their own stories. They
Right.
are putting the production in place to tell the stories of the athletes. You see individual stories on, all of the like I didn't know a lot of these athletes because it was they're younger than I am, and I kind of stopped watching indoor for quite a bit because I was all beach. And when I got back into indoor, I had no way until love of really knowing the stories of the athletes and the ones that are pro. I mean, college I think has quite a bit of that, a little bit more
Yeah.
so, but pro now is showing you who these women are.
Right.
They're showing you like their personalities, like their whole life, like you've got a lot of that. You kind of have like a little foot in the door to see what they're like. And beach, it's like it's still so relying on individual Instagrams to tell their own stories.
Well, here's the good news about Beach. Production-wise, they've improved significantly, right?
Oh, 100%.
Big up to the McKibbins who worked.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't think they were working very hard a year ago because you didn't see highlights till like 7 days after it was done, right? But you have some of these independent people that put a lot of pressure on them to do it same day, and the production's good, the introduction's good. Mark Schuerman, I think, is doing a good job. Now, here's the issue. You want people to tell the story, but it has to be the right people, and the right people have to make the right decisions. I'll give you an example, and I'm gonna sound like I'm crapping on someone, but I'm not here to make friends, so I'm gonna just keep it real. I listened to Kevin Barnett, Rich Lamborn, and Cameron Irwin right over the weekend, called Long Beach. There was like the league AVP. Production wise, professionally wise, they were on point. Cameron's got a great voice. Kevin basically is an indoor god as far as commentating. He's so clever and sharp for indoor. And his mom is a voice coach too, so he's got that announcer type thing or whatever. And I've never seen it. And Rich Lamborn has the intelligence of like Hank McCoy, which is like Beast from X-Men, which is a professor, right? And he's got the muscle, he's got the body too. But I've never seen a production where they checked all the boxes on how to do a television production and still missed the boat on how to tell a story. There was no story there. It was filler. There was nothing to me when I'm doing a podcast, or let's say I'm calling a match, and I've called many. It comes threefold. One, get the audience to care about the characters in an organic way, right? If you talk to someone 2 minutes before the match, then you're limited to that, and the audience sees that. Like you talk to them, but you don't really know them. For me, for Christ's sake, I got 3-hour podcast. So one, get the audience to care about the characters. Two, get the audience to follow the journey to the end. And then three, know when to speak and when to shut up, and because they follow the players to the end, to this moment of truth where they fall or they succeed. And I promise you, if you fall, the audience is going to cry with you. And if you succeed, the audience is going to cry in a good way. It's, and I hate to go back to the UFC, but it's the UFC created that moment with The Ultimate Fighter. They were 4 million in the red, and Dana White took a chance and made the show. And Spike TV was, because they weren't even on any channel, so they got a whole bunch of guys and they stuck them in a house, right? And of course they had a dose of train wreck, right? Because you didn't have internet, didn't have whatever, didn't have phones, but you had booze. So
all been train wrecks in this volleyball.
So you got to get a
little bit. I have been a train wreck before.
Well, but here's the thing: they did it, and the production team and the camera crews allowed the players to tell the story. And when the finale came, the last two fighters, Forrest Griffin and Stefan Bonner, everyone was calling each other that night. Dude, you got to see what's on Spike TV. This is crazy. It's takedowns, it's boxing, it's jiu-jitsu. It's insane. And it was such a great feeling, and it was such a tight match when Forrest won, because it was the winner gets a contract and the loser, it's just one out of the 16 competitors. They decided at the end they're going to give Stefan Bonner a contract, and everybody cried. Because people wanted it, because the story told for Stefan, and for Stefan, the fall at the end made people feel for him. Like, we love Forrest, but damn, is there a way we can get both of these people contracts? Guess what? 2 contracts, water tanks, and volleyball. Look, I could do it. I threw my name in the commentary hat or whatever, but I ain't the type of person that's going to be begging somebody. And as you can imagine, there are other things I'm doing right now. But we need people. Sorry, go ahead. No, you're my guest. Sorry.
To your point though, like, that was kind of like a prelude, right? Like, now they're even more pumped to watch them and follow their careers and watch the fights. Like, that's what I'm talking about, is the game itself. Like, it's really hard to get all of that and like without actually hooking before the game happens, right? Like, before they go in to play a match, like, what's the story beforehand? Like, what was nobody knows anything about a lot of
the ability to tell it? Who has the ability to tell it? You're talking about, you got some great players that are coaches or whatever for LOVB, but they had to learn how to coach. They weren't just like players like, I played the game, so I'm entitled to coach. I'm going to be a good coach. No. You know that. You coach UC Davis, you know, and you know the work that comes behind that. They got to treat it like a different occupation, because telling the story and playing it are not this. They're all part of the story, but they're different wheelhouses. We have open level players, Allie. We need open level idea tellers.
Yeah, 100%. And
sorry, go ahead.
That's maybe like that's what's missing in a lot of the athletes. That's it. It's, you know, I get really like frustrated when, and I think all my friends are doing a great job of trying to promote themselves, and they obviously hopefully are paying, you know, someone to help them out with that a little bit if they have the funds to do it. But I'm so frustrated that there's no, I mean, I think Love is doing it. I think like the indoor side's doing it. But beach, it's like, where are they helping these athletes out in telling the story?
Right.
Like and like whether it be, you know, creating an environment for them to do it organically or not, but they're relying fully on them to basically do it through their own channels. You know, they're the day of having to be like, this is my biggest frustration is, and if you want to make it sometimes, unless you are like a 1, 2, 3 Olympic player, you've got to be an influencer at this point. Like the
Olympians have to be influencers.
Oh yeah. And at least they have, you know, they have some people helping them a little bit, but they still have to do their own stuff a lot of times. Who's grabbing the content? Like that stuff is expensive. That's not cheap. Like, and I know that from, you know, we have to pay people to do social media for club and find people there. Those roles are not cheap.
You could do it cheap and do it right.
You know, you can, but if that's not who you are, and I know that from experience, like I will be the first one. Could I learn it? Yes. Do I feel like that's my area of expertise? Would I rather pay someone that's very good at it to do it correctly, and I can focus on my job of playing volleyball?
Because that's their job, not yours. Exactly.
Exactly. But we've kind of have this other swing where it is now the job of the athlete to be the influencer. And if you're not good at that, it's brutal, and it tears you apart. Like it really, really tears your confidence. You're like, all I want to do is train and play and perform and be really good at my sport and have fun, and then I can let myself out and be the person I am. But if I'm also having to capture the content, post it, do all these hours of work for it, and granted, there's AI, so if you learn AI, you can try and figure that out now. But it's a really brutal position to be in when you have other sports that just get paid to play their sport. And yes, they have to do appearances and maybe they have to show up in front of a camera, but they're not the ones responsible for having to post all this content and do all this stuff and still manage to train like, you know, 8 hours a day.
Well, they're paying people to catch the best moments of people playing their sport. In the beginning of this podcast, you were talking about Michael Jordan shooting a free throw with his eyes closed. If the camera does not catch that, are we talking about that? Are we talking about it here? We're not. No, the camera had to catch that, and it had to be some kind of overhead mic. And I think honestly, I think the AVP is on its way, and I think the league is a risk, but without a risk, I understand with the risk that comes failure, but no risk it, no biscuit. There's no reward if you don't take any chance. I've never seen a huge pot of gold on someone that didn't take a chance. Like and players too, right? Players, forget the promotion thing. Just keep. I don't know. To me, if I'm watching videos of you training, you're probably not training. You know, just like somebody else should be taking that video. You're probably not training. And Ali, we're multiple sport athletes. We know how to real elite athletes train. Like I've seen NFL players, basketball players. I've seen the way they train. And for the first time in 10 years, beach volleyball players are keeping their promises. I'm a hater from New York, but I am so proud of them. Just all of them are in great shape. Their nutrition's on point. So the part 3 of the storytelling is there. The players are doing their part. We just need someone either through production team or through a storyteller to set up
Yeah.
shop. The most viewed podcast in beach volleyball is here. It's me, and I'm not even in the league. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about having good storytellers, and the NBA has it. Like Joe Rogan, again, going back to MMA, Joe Rogan never even fought in the UFC. You know, but he's such an avid like purist and fan. Dana White discovered. I mean, he did the first 4 shows for free. UFC was in the red. He was the guy from Fear Factor, and he did the first 4 shows for free. Jeff Van Gundy from the NBA. That dude is amazing in the announcers table. And you know what? You like him a lot or you hate him a lot. That's your dichotomy.
That's okay though.
But if you hate someone enough, what does liking someone enough and hating someone enough have in common? You care.
You care.
You care. Nobody cares. Like no one's gonna make me watch a volleyball match I don't care about. You have to get someone to hook me. And that starts with what you were talking about at the tail end of the boom period. Transcendency. Transcendent athletes. Transcendency is someone that doesn't watch your sport knows who that person is. And the last transcendent athletes we've had in beach volleyball is Misty May and Kerry Walsh. Phil is affectionately known as the bald head guy. They can't even remember his name, and it's even more difficult to spell his last name. So, like we're talking about LeBron, right? You could have never played a day of basketball and know who LeBron James is. You might not like wrestling. Oh my God, it's so fake. These guys are just ridiculous, cutting themselves with razor blades. You know who Hulk Hogan is. You know who The Rock is. You know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is, right? So transcendency is told by stories. And it can be told 2 ways: by the players, when the camera's there, which again is an open level production idea, or someone that knows how to shape the story to hook you, to follow it to the stage. And when they get to the stage, man, the product better be dope. I swear to God and Sonny Jesus. Right. Yeah. So, but I'm glad you allowed me to work there, because it was spinning full circle to LOVB and commending you on all the ways that you're making ways to make this work. It's open level ideas. You guys are better versions of yourself every year. And a hater like me was watching some indoor. I wanted to play. Is there something you wanted to add to that? I wanted to play the 2 minute. I wanted to play the 2 minute rewind from LOVB for the audience. And let's do it. Let's go. DJ, spin that.
Season 2 of Love It's kicked off.
The most decorated volleyball Olympian in U.S. history announced that this, her 18th professional season, would be her final year.
And rather than making this the finish line, I want to spend this season honoring the people, places, and moments that shaped it all. Sorry.
It's hard to articulate what she means to this sport and to her team.
Salt Lake extends their win streak.
They won their last 5 matches in a row. This is the team to beat. Houston is absolutely rolling right now.
They've won 7 of 9 matches and are on the verge of taking over first place in the league.
Jordan Thompson has a new league record of 31 kills in a match. That's got to be so cool. Have your first kid, get back out on the volleyball court and do what you love all over again.
Taking a look at the standings, Atlanta moves up yet again. That is their 5th consecutive match that they have won.
And remember, the top 4 teams advance to the Love playoffs.
This is a battle right now for those teams at the bottom half there, and anything can happen. They're all within a match or 2. Austin has just taken a spot in the playoffs, and so quick get it.
Welcome to League One playoffs from Freedom Hall in Louisville. We have 2 matches for you tonight. The continuation of the season hangs in the balance here in a golden set.
Salt Lake going to the finals.
They are headed to Long Beach.
Now just 2 games left to decide it all.
Austin was the 3rd seed. They took down the 2nd seed in the semifinals, and they never looked back. Back-to-back League One champions.
44 points across the 2 matches. Your MVP is Madison Skinner.
What a season for League One.
It's so fun to be a part of volleyball right now.
So cool.
Now, First of all, that was amazing, right? Now, look at the production. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I personally, I'd like to see some slow motion, some zoom in, and just a little bit of disappointment, to tell the journey and its completion. But you can see this is not a production where you're telling yourself, these guys don't work very hard. No, they worked hard. They worked hard. The audience can see the work, right? And this is someone who's following the league recently but hasn't followed the league. Now, the commentators, the narration, if those are the best bits you can pick, then that's an indictment on the people that pick up their game who are calling matches, right? So if I'm nitpicking, those are the things I'm doing. But that's not what that wasn't my point. My point was that was gorgeous, that was beautiful,
yeah,
and it was worth it, and everyone should share it. That's what I meant about telling a story.
Jason, I think and again, a lot of people don't see this because it's, everyone's in their own world, but I have the pleasure of seeing all of the immense work that goes behind it. I mean, I'm on all those chats, even though I'm not on the pro side, but I get to cross-functionally work with a lot of the pro divisions. And the amount of investment and heart and true just passion, like we said, it's not just about the money. There are so many people invested in making this work for all the right reasons. And I think that is what I always hold on to. And I try and black out again the noise of the other stuff, but I get to see behind the scenes, the countless hours, the 1 o'clock morning, someone finishes a highlight video that they've been working on for hours, and the camaraderie between the two. And I will again, transparency, Love has a very community base. It's not just pro and club. We work together to better ourselves as a community of people who work together. I get to be on monthly calls and community sessions with all these people, and you get to meet and talk to them about their hard questions, the transparency, and how to make it all better together. And I think that is the biggest thing that is going to make this work. I think holding on to, yes, there are pain points in all startups, there are pain points in everything we do. But I think as long as we remember the main goal, and as long as everybody knows, these people are putting in so much time and blood, sweat, tears to create something that has never been done before. And, whether they're here with the company for 2 years, 3 years, what they put into it is really something to be said for. I know people, Caitlin Gow's still a part of Love, but she's not forward facing anymore. And she was that was always intentional, if I'm doing my job, that means I did my job right. We created something that is going to continue, and we want everyone to have said that they were a part of it. And I think that's just, I want to applaud everybody at Love on both pro and club side, because the product you see and the things you see, the amount of work that goes behind it is so much more than a regular job. It's so much more investment and countless hours and relationship building and networking to make it all happen. So I think just applauding those people, applauding the people who had a vision to start it in that little Airbnb, Caitlin Gow, Kevin Wong, Peter Hirschman, those are the people that had this vision, but then they also trust people to kind of execute it and work together. So,
but that starts from a place of inclusiveness.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
100%.
Well, first of all, you almost got me. I'm not gonna cry, man. You almost made me cry, Allie. What are you doing here?
Sorry. I think it's cool. I think it's so cool, and I'm really happy that I get to be a part of it.
God bless you. Oh my God, woman. But this is what I liked about the clip I showed. You can tell when the work is being put in. Right. So now, their production people are I would have done it different. Everyone's a Monday morning quarterback, but nobody's saying that wasn't hard work. And that doesn't happen without letting open level ideas in. And this is where Beach is struggling. If you're only going to list the people or are part of a certain club,
Right.
then you're probably going to wind up with the same. Two things are going to happen. Something a little worse or nothing at all. Okay. No, right. So, but I really love this idea, man. I'd love for you guys to do the Hawaiian Festival next year. To be part of that. You know Jason Olive?
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind that? That was
No, I don't. What's the story behind that?
So as you know, as a former club coach and player, there's this huge gap after regionals and before nationals. 3 weeks, everybody's scrimmaging the heck out of each other, and the only big tournament happening was in Arizona. And Arizona is like 115 degrees, right? They're using the baton ball instead of like the Molten, and they're using like staff people are reffing, not like real refs. So, and it's an invitational. There's no points or there's, we're just looking for a place to play. So there was a little bit of, without getting into the chatter between Jason Olive and the people that work there, basically it escalated to a point where Jason's like, dude, I don't need to take this. I can do this, and I can do this in Hawaii next year. And they're like, do what you got to do. And Jason's like, you know what? And I was with him when this happened, because I wasn't in the room, because you ain't gonna let me in the room because I got a big mouth. But when we left the room, he's like, I said we can do this in Hawaii next year. And then we got in. When I left, he's like, I said we can do this in Hawaii next year. And then last year, 2025 we only had 61 teams, and it was an experiment. But now, this year we've had beach, grass, and indoor. Yeah. I called center court for the indoor for the broadcast, and of course Queens Beach, and wherever they play grass. But my point is this: to sell it required an open level idea, and that's Jason. Jason saying, "Is the trip expensive to parents? Yes. Is this the same amount or less or more than you would pay if you took a vacation to Hawaii?" The answer is up to you. So he sold it as the parents get to go on vacation, and and you don't have to watch your kid the whole day unless you're into your kid like that. Just drop them off, go to Queens Beach, whatever, go to a restaurant. So he sold it as a festival, which is how he got past all the politics. And like John Sparrow, they were in this big meeting, and he's like, "No, it's a festival." And everyone's like quiet. He's like, "You guys didn't think this? You guys didn't come up with that idea? It's a festival." So you get the okay from the 4 wise men in Hawaii. There's 4 people that make everything happen, basically. And you guys should. I'm gonna hook you up. You should talk to Jason. Talk about LOVB. Maybe get some of them to sit in with me. I'm gonna be calling center court. Maybe have someone come in, and during a match and during the timeouts or in between sets, we could talk about LOVB. Man, that'd be great. Because that's all I did. I had college coaches sit next to me, so I was calling play-by-play by myself. And for color commentary, I would recruit club coaches and volleyball coaches. The guy to get MVP at U of H, he called a match with me last year. The guy with the braids, black guy. So it was cool, man. It was but but that was something out of nothing, and that took, like you said, a lot of inclusiveness of open level players and open level ideas. 2 different jobs.
And you have to be understanding, like, not everything like works right off the bat. It's just like the theory of like you got to fail like 100 times before you succeed. I think that like that's not just true in sports; it's true in business and life. But if you're not open and take the risk, like you were saying, like I agree. Like I think it is great that the AVP is moving and looking at it from a different perspective, and they're doing something they haven't done before, and that's a first big step, I think. And to continue that, like you said, I think that like if they can continue to be open to other ideas and things like that, I think they could be pretty successful. But it is being open to new ideas, being open to something that is not the norm. Like Love was very, very open to having different perspective on the branding. Like the branding was a huge thing. It was very different than what people have normally seen. And here we are, like I'm seeing Love all over the place. Again, it's great. I go and like people recognize that I'm with League One volleyball, and they know what it means now. But when we first started, everyone was like, what? Like LOVB? Like why would they name it that? why would all these teams have the same, you know, like, and there were so many spitball judgments about it. I'm like, yeah, you know, like maybe you don't like it that much. It's okay, but it did create talk. Like they did talk about it. And so I thought that was interesting because when I first came out, like, and saw the branding for the teams, I was like, oh, it's interesting. I can't really tell what they are. Like I was a little thrown, but now I know what all of them are. And it was mainly because we talked about it so much. And I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that was the intention, but
sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. But the openness to do something different was huge, and for someone to trust that creative thought was, you know, going to work, and to hand that over to our branding, I think that's pretty.
We got to get this kid in the shot. Where is he?
Oh, is he?
We got to get him in the shot. Where's that? Where's the head? Show me the head again. Where is he?
Show you.
My! This is mini Kevin McColloch, dude. I swear to you. You got to be kidding me. What's up, kid? All right. Nice. So, Ali, do you personalize your work? How you are someone? All right, let me just put it this way. I'm going to shape it like this. I interviewed for a job at a college a couple of months ago. They asked me what my biggest strength was. I said I personalize my work because you know, I live in a video room like a hermit. This is personal to me. They asked me what my biggest weakness was, and I said I personalize my work. And it's really, really hard for me to hit the off switch. And some people are really good, like when they leave or when they have an off switch, they got their family and this and that. How do you? Because obviously this is an emotional thing for you as well as a logistical and athletic thing. Over the years, you've coached at Davis. You coached here, you've played here. You stayed at my house when you had that disappointment with Kelly Reeves at Manhattan Beach. You know, you wanted to finish higher, and you have different ways on how you deal with that. How do you deal with that? I'm not doing a compare and contrast from 2016, but like, or is it something that you struggle with? Do you do it?
I can say that it's something that I really struggled with for a long time. I would even, you know, all the way probably up until I would say like about 3 years ago, maybe, looking at it. So while I was in my first year with Love, that's fine, babe. I had a really hard time separating, and also more, I wouldn't call it separating, but balancing, like, and saying it's okay to shut it off. Like there was so much and it was more like a judgment of myself. Like I didn't want people to judge me, or like I didn't want to let anyone down. But the minute that I started shutting it off and saying, you know what, like I have done 100% of what I could do in my job. Like, and I think that's important. You got to have a balance. And I was really bad at it. I mean, I just was the yes to everything, you know, all the time. Like, and I was having 2 kids and saying yes to everything and overexerting myself in both work, life, all of that stuff. I finally was like, you know what? I really have to start thinking about this differently and start doing my job, but also being okay saying, no, I'm not available right now. Like, or I'll get to this tomorrow. Like, you know, it's 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, unless it was like an urgent thing, you know, like there was a deadline that I knew I was supposed to finish. Like that's one thing, my own deadlines. But if it was something where it was an ask at like 10 p.m. at night, gonna be like, this can wait tomorrow unless it's an absolute emergency, you know? So I started doing that, and I can't tell you how much life got better. Like, and my job got better. Like I started being so much more efficient because then I had to really prioritize. And I learned this from one of my supervisor, like at Love, my boss, you could say, Kim Kitchens. she, was a really big part of mentoring me, like on the work-life balance, business type of side. And she would kind of coach me through. And like part of being a part of love is like having hard conversations with people. Like we learn how to have hard conversations because that's just the world. You're going to have a hard conversation, whether it's somebody that's not doing their job and you need to try and help them by saying, hey, this is the truth and we need to figure out how to, make this better, or how can we help? But like, we need to give you the real truth on certain things. Same with kids and athletes, right? Having hard conversations is really hard. And she taught me like having the hard conversation, but also prioritizing like what is the most important thing right now to get done and what can wait until tomorrow type of thing, instead of trying to do all of it in one day. Like, and I didn't really think about it. And once I started learning how to prioritize the things that I needed to get done right away and the things that could wait until tomorrow, it balanced my whole entire work life. And I got better at my job. I think I got better at like the business side and talking to people, and also mentoring and teaching other people. And I don't know if you like anybody knows this, but my job at Love is I work with directors, like 12 to 13 directors across the country right now that are in it. A lot of them at trials, running the clubs. And I help manage the business essentially and the growth. And I help them with the resources and the connection to Love and Pro, and making sure they have all of that. And I'm there to guide them, but also be a little bit of a mentor when they need guidance. They'll come to me and ask me questions, and whether just to be a sounding board or an ear to listen to, club volleyball is a tough world. Like if you're a director out there, it, like, let's be honest, you're dealing with parents that are paying money, and if they're not really happy with whatever, they're going to let you know, and they're going to be a pain in your butt sometimes. Or you might have the phenomenal parents that are like just beautiful and volunteer, and they're awesome and they get it. But there's a lot of times when directors, they are like, God bless them, they are day to day, in and out, morning to night, like just in it and having to deal with all of it. So I try and help them. Same thing that my boss taught me is like, prioritize and be okay telling a parent, I'm going to get back to you tomorrow. Like same thing with the playing 24-hour rule. Like, right. Don't come up and talk to the coach until 24 hours. You got a problem. Like, we get it. You're heated, but let's talk tomorrow. Like, right. Let's sleep on it. You have an argument with your husband, whatever. Let's sleep on it. We'll talk about it tomorrow, kind of thing. Kevin and I do that. We're like, we're not going to go to bed mad. We're going to just sleep on it before we start this conversation to debrief what just happened. So I think that's really important. And so today, I do not personalize it as much. I have personal feelings, and Kevin will tell you the amount of conversations we have where we're both like, you got to detach the personal, like your personal, like you got to have those opinions and thoughts, but you got to process them before you just start taking action on them, because a lot of times when I do that, I find that I was taking things too personal, or it had nothing to do with me, or that, I wasn't looking at it from an open perspective. And I was only looking at it from mine.
Right.
So I think, especially in my position, it's very helpful to do that. And so, yeah, I've definitely transitioned from personalizing everything to just kind of separating the two.
Yeah. Because what you think is a strength, and it wasn't, and it isn't or was a strength. Yeah. At some point, you're going to fall off the cliff.
100, exactly. Or you're going to do a lot of stuff for free that you devalue who you are. It's not that I'm saying money's attached to it at all, but you got to value yourself. Same things with a lot of the beach athletes that I never realized is you got to value yourself when you're going after something, and I think that's huge. And something I was always afraid to do. And I struggle with that, is really saying, no, this is my value. This is my worth. And I got to be confident in that. because I have worked really hard, and especially in the field of like, you know, being a head coach, being a woman, like, and I'm not really like that, honestly. Like, I don't blame things on being a woman, why I don't get things. I think I really don't feel that way. But I have a personal, like, in the back of my mind, I have to prove something all the time, which I think was just like kind of over time instilled in me.
You graduated from that.
I graduated from that. That's like, you know, I don't have anything to prove anymore. I just want to continue to work hard.
But it emotes in your physical presence. Like the mentality translates to your physical presence. Like right now, I know you pretty well. But right now I'm looking at a lady, like when I used to watch black and white films, like the kind of woman that walks into a room and like men stand up and she's like, no, you don't have to. Like, don't be silly. Sit down. That's what you're emoting right now. And just that alone emotes power and gets rid of the whole woman dynamic. In fact, you're changing. You're actually taking what some people would perceive as a weakness or a crutch and actually allowed it. You're not using it, but allowed it to transform and transmogrify into something that's commanding, and that commands respect. You know, you're like, I remember I mentioned Lauren Bacall. Like, I'm just going to be funny and satirical and say that woman doesn't exist anymore. That kind of woman doesn't exist anymore. The kind of woman that walks into a room and men stand up, it's like, don't be silly. You know, that's you. You know, Betsy had a little bit of that too. You know, if you remember Betsy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. No, and I still think that, like, even when she walks onto the court, you know, like the way that she presents herself, she commands it. I mean, I follow Betsy quite a bit, and I mean, her and I were never close at all. You know, we crossed paths at SOB. We did obviously pit each other against each other, but her and I never really. Yeah. And we never really had a relationship off the court, but I always respected her. And that was like not through conversation. It was purely with how she carried herself.
Yeah. A true professional.
And I still do. Like, I think, you know, and I love the way she plays. I love her little commentary she has too. She's witty. She's still enjoys the little fun things about the sport. You know, she's a competitor for sure, a stud athlete, and a mom. Like, mad respect.
Look, I have my disagreements with her temperament sometimes, but the respect I have for her is profound, right? And as far as like wanting to do good things for the sport, I don't know if you remember when before the podcast I was doing something called Volleyball the Tuesday After, where I was doing like beat coverage of the events that happened over the weekend. And episode 1, I had 3 guests: Madison McKibben, Betsy Flint, and you. and Kevin jumped in on the end. Remember? I was like, ice cream and cupcakes. You're like, ice cream, cupcakes. You know, so it was yeah. Oh, by the way, on the podcast, you're also episode number 5. This is episode 291. You're episode number 5. So so that's how far back we go. So, but yeah, you can never accuse her of being something that she's not. She disingenuous is something that she's not. What she is a true killer in the sport. And there are a lot of aggressive players, but there are very few like authentic killers. Like the kind of girl that has this demeanor, like, if you serve me, I will make you sorry you've ever done that. You know, and I get that from 2 players. Like if Kristen Nuss, I get that from Kristen Nuss, and I get that from Betsy. You know?
Oh, I would have loved to play Kristen.
She's
like
amazing.
I that's the only thing I envy about the sport right now is like being able to play with some of these athletes. Like they just look fun to play against.
And she takes chances.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she's had to, given you know what she's had to go through the volleyball political spectrum. She's had to. She's undersized, and every arrogant coach is like, "Oh, I could teach a tall girl to play like her." I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't. Just stop it. They're the best team in the world right now, or they're 1 or 1A right now. You know?
Yeah. They came out. You know, they came out to Indoor for Love. Like they came out to the summit. We do a coaches summit for our coaches. We have like 400 coaches that we completely just for the Love coaches put on a huge educational, tied with the ABCA convention. So like absolute props to them too. We partner with them and they're amazing in that partnership. But I had asked them to come out for just to be like speakers for Love, for our coaches and teach. And then they ended up giving our Love Coach Awards like at the banquet and handing them out. And they were just so charismatic and great. And I just love the fact they were all about doing it. You know, they were like, yeah, this is awesome. We happy to do it, you know. And I thought that was cool because they both were in the indoor side, but it was primarily indoor based. They were giving a B+ on their indoor court. Huh?
It's real.
It's real.
There's not a phony bone in that girl's body. That is what you get when you see her. I promise you.
Yeah, and I think they're going to do some great things in the sport too. You know, like I do think that they're giving back a lot. You know, and I think that they're doing a good job of also holding value of what they're worth as well. Like I think that's important too. A lot of people are like, oh, they're expensive or whatever. Like no, they're not. They're actually really like valuing themselves as Olympic athletes, as coaches, as trainers,
as the best team in the world.
As the best team in the world.
That's how they're behaving. They're behaving as if they're the best team in the world.
And they're not going to back down on that, which I appreciate, because on the professional side, there's one side, but then there's the giving back. They give back so much on the community side and the club side, like the youth side, you know, like, and I think, and they want to make the sport better. I think they're trying to figure out ideas of how to kind of break into that world and better the sport. But they're ones that I would say would lead the charge. And if I was in the professional scene, still playing, I would say jump on that train. You know,
they are the best shot at volleyball transcendency for the beach scene. Right now, they are our look. There's some kids coming up, the Colorado Cupcakes. I think they're doing some really good things. But right now, Kristen and Taryn are the best shot at transcendency. They played at LSU, where they have huge support from alumni who are in the NFL and the NBA. Like Shaq follows them, Ryan Clark follows them. Well, but that's them betting on themselves, right? They're like, why would we want to go to LA and train there and live there when we have a first-class facility here? We have our former college coach as a phone call away. The assistant coach is now our full-time coach, Drew Hamilton, right? Yep. Drew, I think it's Drew. Drew. I call him Uncle Drew, but you know, Russell Brock, phone call away, you know, their coach, and I like it. I didn't want them to move here because these people here will pretend they'd be their friends, but they're really just trying to steal their secret, and they're trying to steal their partner, right? Well, they're loyal to their people.
I think also it's important for the sport to show you don't have to live in Hermosa, Manhattan. Shoot, I lived in San Diego and I still had to drive to Hermosa.
Right.
Like that, a beautiful beach in San Diego, and you still can't get people to like train, you know, like in San Diego. You have to go to Hermosa still, and that's just not economically feasible for these athletes. No. Like it's just, if you want to talk about it, like it's really not. And if we want to grow the sport, we have to make it more accessible on the pro side and everything. And gosh, I love Hermosa Beach. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful.
I live here.
Like Southern California. We love it.
I'm going there after this podcast is over. Down the hill.
The reality is we're just not like the percentage of people that are in a position to be able to just up and move and stay there and live there unless you have someone helping you. It's really, really challenging. And then there you're knocking out so much of available opportunities for people to play at a high, like play in the pro scene. I love that they're saying you don't have to be in Hermosa, Manhattan. Now, do I think that you can go and train there for like, you know, a month
6 times a year? Yeah.
For USA Volleyball, like great. Yes, I do think that makes sense. It's a team. You got to go be a part of the team. But if you're professional, you don't have to be there, you know? So
no, they don't actually have a training facility for USA Beach. So why would you go to a place that doesn't have a home for you? They don't even have a home. So
wouldn't that be nice if they did?
yeah. But do you understand the transcendency part?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I drove to New Orleans because I was shooting a documentary called Club Coach, and NOLA was one of my stops. I love NOLA so much. It was I stayed there for 3 days just for fun. And I'm going to a juniors tournament, and I'm talking to Bruce White and some of the guys running it. And in the middle of the tournament, all the players leave the court. And there's this line to take pictures with Kristen and us who showed up. The tournament stopped. These are where people need to get the hell out of their bubbles. The tournament stopped because of Kristen and Taryn to take pictures and talk to them. I'll bring your attention to Aspen, Colorado, the Motherlode tournament. Colorado Cupcakes, Thomas Hurst, Gage Basie, one of 3 brothers that plays, beat Peter Canola and Jeff Samuels in the finals. There was 70 people online to get their fedora signed. This guy wears a fedora on the court. They call him the Fedora Kid. There's a line of people waiting to get their fedora signed. I'm telling you, and I'm like, where's the camera? Where's the person to tell that story, right? Do they understand? Do they understand how transcendency works? This guy's a Fedora Kid, and if there's enough cameras on him, there are going to be people that don't watch the sport that are going to be like, I know that guy. you can't walk in the streets of New York City no more. I know you, dude, right? But the best shot at transcendency is that, which leads me to my second point. Coaches out there, message me, hate mail me all you want, but I'm going to say this in a way that all of you can understand. Training groups are a waste of time. Training groups to do 5 or 6 times a year. Like you said, fly to Hermosa, train with USA, test what you learned and what you're developing, test your mettle against like-minded competition, iron sharpens iron. No, the best teams in the world have condensed coaching. They might have a 3rd or 4th player come in. They might invite out of system just to keep hitting at them. The guys from out of system that just keep hitting at them. Qatar, the Norwegians, the Swedes. None of these people do training groups. It's a money-making swindle. Do training groups 6 times a year. Training groups should not be your yearly DNA because you burn out faster. You just don't. And I understand at some point you got to hate this game, because if you at no point ever hated this game in your career, you probably never competed hard enough. At some point we are going to hate the game, unless you're Allie, who's got nothing but love all the time. All the time.
You have a few people that might disagree with you on that, but
of course.
I have a love-hate relationship with the game, but I love not the game. I would say it's not the game that I have a love-hate relationship. I have a love-hate relationship with the politics, the dynamics, the noise around it. I absolutely love the game of volleyball. Beach, grass, peppering. Like, volleyball is there. If a volleyball is there, like, I can't help but pick up a ball, and that's my love for the game.
Yeah.
I like watching it in terms of my own dissecting it. But I don't, but I definitely had a very hard relationship with it when I was playing pro, and I missed, part of the game that I missed the college piece of it. I missed the team. I missed the support. I missed, and that's where I guess I'm in my position now, because I like the fact that I can help change that. I like that I can help, people who feel like they're in it alone.
But people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dude, I sent 2 girls your way because I knew you were the coach. When you were at Davis, at Finley Rollins is Endless Summer. That was my club.
Yeah.
Right. Chelsea Magdalene played for Hunter High School, indoor Hunter High School in New York City. Which,
I love Chelsea.
Yeah, and she was smart, right?
Oh,
gosh. She was actually one of the dumber smart kids in that school. That's a smart school.
And all the kids at Davis, they're great athletes. I actually just went to one of the girls I coached her wedding in
Let's go.
Hollister. And it was beautiful, and those relationships, that part I love about the coaching, that piece, and being able to have those relationships and know that you have bettered someone's life in some way, whether it's from coaching them or mentoring them. So that's one of the things like I love about volleyball and the sport. But as far as like some of these, you know, I just feel for those that feel like they're alone in it, and they feel like they're doing all the right things, but it's still not moving. So I'm hoping that, you know, the sport, like the people who are in the sport involved in like pro youth, that they're really striving to stay open to collectively finding a way to better the sport, to better these athletes, to give them opportunities, and put aside the like kind of petty political side of you're playing for my club, their club, like, you know, like that stuff. And then pro, like you said, being open. And I think that's huge, and it's hard. It's not easy. Like, we're all competitive. We all, you know, have those dynamics, but got to remember why we're in it, right?
Yeah,
like, it's
no
not
doubt.
for the money. It's definitely like these coaches aren't in it for the money. I know that.
Well,
like,
Ali, you give me hope, and I know it's at some point we got other things to do as we leave this podcast. I wanted to scroll just the list of people, the coaches that were part of LOVB. I just want to scroll up. Got Carlo, Fernando, Paolo, Sanja. Oh, Serbia. I know her. Tama.
good old Tama. I played against her in college.
Nice. Anne Marie. This is I forgot this guy where he's from. He's from Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
We know her, of course, Olympian.
Oh yeah.
Dunphy, familiar last name. Mr. Browning, another
I know.
Olympian. Sullivan. Seems like an easy guy to get along with. And Johnny. Okay. Nice. Good stuff. Ali, give me a book that, like some people use a book as required reading for volleyball because it's inspirational. Like, for example, John Mayer has Chop Wood, Carry Water. My book is, I keep going back to it, is Unbroken, written by Laura Hildebrand. They did a film about
I haven't read that, but I've heard.
Zamprini. Yeah.
Maybe you've told me that about that book, but I haven't.
Yeah. Aaron Wexler has a book called The Inspired Athlete. I thought that was actually, it's a short read, but it was pretty cool. What's a good read that will, I don't know, that you would encourage, like if you're coaching, or like if you got kids that like to read or whatever they're into playing, give me, or maybe what's the last good book you read? I'm shaping this question so many ways.
You are making me feel bad about,
because she don't read, guys. She does not read.
like physical books. I mean, Kevin would laugh because I don't know the name of it, but it's a marriage book that we read. It's like a fun way. Anyway, that has nothing to do with volleyball, but I'm laughing because that is like,
oh, it's like the relationship questions. Like you ask each other back and forth.
It's questions, but it's also like builds on fun stuff to do, you know, like kind of gives you like activities to do as a couple that kind of stretch your comfortability on like in questions, you know, like to really bring out like truth in your life, and like what are things you want to do as like a couple, like where do you want to go, like, and it gives you like things. It's like a workbook for marriage.
It's really good.
And we got it from my my aunt, or Kevin's aunt. But here's the thing that I don't have a ton, but I know that I've given recommendations from our coach development team. So there's like a few books that I've wanted to read. There's one called What You're Made For. Do you know that one?
No.
By Coach Raveling. And then there's another one that The Obstacle is the Way is another one. And it's like that one I actually am more wanting to like, that I think is important, is like it focuses on the things that you control or things you can let go of, kind of like we were talking about earlier, by Ryan Holiday. So like those are like two books that have come across on the love side that I've heard multiple times. that have been recommended for
Nice.
kids. And I hate to say, like, I need to read more. I don't read enough books.
No, you don't.
I don't read enough books. I do read a lot of just like articles and things like that.
Dude, I got a whole bunch of books over here that I'm still trying to say that I'm going to read, but I am such a procrastinator when it comes to reading. But the more, so you know what happens though? The more you fly, like, you know, I hate flying, but the more I fly, the more I'm starting to bring some of these books with me.
I'm a journaler. I do a lot of journaling.
So those are some of the books. That's Winning Element by Coach Referee Schneier.
Yeah.
Barack Obama had an identity crisis growing up. I'm half black, half white, so that interests me. This is the Red Pill Revolution because I'm on a carnivore diet. So they did one for COVID and they did one for meat eaters. And this is how politics divide us, or like parties divide us, called Hate Inc., written by Matt Taibbi. So these are books that have a general interest for me, but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna pick one and then go with it. So I'm with you. Let's talk films. What was one of your favorite sports films growing up, or maybe to the present? What's the first one that comes to your mind when you think of like favorite sports films?
Sports films. Ooh.
Like for me, the first thing that came to my mind was Remember the Titans. Probably not my favorite, but because I'm a prisoner of the moment, it was the first one I thought about. So what was the first one you thought about?
Oh man, I Field of Dreams comes to mind.
Oh, Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Build It, They Will Come. I'm a Kevin Costner fan. But more so, I love that movie.
So you're watching Yellowstone then? Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a lot. I watched the Michael Jordan documentary. Just because like why?
Well, we had to. We were stuck. We were trapped in the house. I think everyone watched it, and boy, did they deliver, huh? Did they not deliver with that documentary?
They did.
Yes,
they did. Gosh, you know what? I actually really enjoyed the Serena Williams, I don't remember what it was called, but it's not a documentary. It's
that was the movie with Will Smith.
Movie with Will Smith. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. It was interesting because I've never really been into tennis, but and I've always obviously known them as like incredible tennis players, and you know watching, but that movie put a different perspective on, like, I was like, oh wow, I had no idea. They painted that picture great, whether you know there was mostly truth to it or not, but I don't know. I think it was mostly based on true story. They tried to. And then obviously, like, this is gonna be funny, but I am going back and watching with my kids, like especially my daughter, like all the fun, like young ones, like Big Green and like all the kids sports movies, you know, like
I watched The Sandlot with Braxton.
Oh my gosh, Sandlot. Okay. In my family, our Christmas movie was Major League.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Major League was like, and my mom keeps saying, she's like, we would watch it every Christmas. I'm like, so it became our Christmas movie, Major League. And that I haven't watched it with my kids yet. I don't know why. I watched it when I was like 5, but I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a little too much for my kids at this point.
That's the first sports movie me and my daughter watched together, Sandlot, and she loved it.
Sandlot?
Mommy was out of town, so me and her I just gave her enough sugar dose to the eyeballs, and we watched that, and we watched Major League as well. She wants to watch Major League too.
Watch that.
He went.
Yeah, Major League is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, my finger's cut. I cut my finger.
Oh man.
Really, really side note, but you have to see this. Come here. Oh my gosh. This is the big member of the family now.
Wow.
Biggie.
That also looks like Kevin.
Our Bernedoodle. Amazing dog, but this thing is huge.
Wait, we got to go full camera on this one.
So cute and
Holy
fluffy.
smokes.
But look at this dude. Ziggy. Really
My
funny.
Goodness. He's got a better hair thing than me. Look at this.
Yes.
Look at that bush. All right, so
yeah, those will be the movies.
all right, so Ali, we're gonna get out of here. I want you to plug in your website or Insta. People want to know what you've been up to with LOVB and this and that. Yeah, floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, my website, like my Instagram,
Or just yours and anybody else.
Okay.
You're still beloved. Look, I met you at SOB. I've been a fan ever since.
Well, I mean, you can always follow like on Instagram. Like we have our Love Instagram, our Love Clubs Instagram, and then we have our Love Recruiting for all you coaches out there, the college coaches. But follow. I think the best thing to follow is our Love Clubs is pretty cool. Watching all the different clubs and things they're doing right now. But then you want to see all the pro stuff if you go to the Love Instagram. I couldn't even tell you, like mine, you're going to see all my kids and my family, but what's going up with me is just Allison McColloch is my Instagram.
That's right. The first, do you know the first tournament I ever watched you play? You and Kelly, Huntington Beach 2016, you and Kelly from the qualifier took fifth. Took fifth. You were like, I need to qualify? No problem. Get on the court and play, you know? That was the same year your husband, I think, beat the number 1 seed as a 16, like him and Rafu.
I think they did.
Yeah.
It's a really good one, which I can't find any film from when I played except for like a few clips. Like it's crazy how little film I can find.
NYvarsity Sports.
Yeah, right. Like
that's me. I got a lot of your matches.
You're the only one. Yeah, you're the one that has it. But there's one from Nolo, like from Emily and I had to play. We were coming back from Switzerland and Prague. Like we went Switzerland, Prague, and then like had to get home real quick, like because we lost, and we decided we could make it back in time to play in the New Orleans AVP, and made it back. Somebody was looking out for us because we were like delayed flight, and we were getting in super late. And the rain came down and the AVP got delayed by like a day or something. And so we got an actually like recovery day from the travel. And I think we placed 5th in that tournament too. But that was a really fun, good, like amazing tournament to watch too. But the Huntington Beach qualifier, that was a good one.
Yeah, man.
That all the way through. First tournament with Kelly. That
was fun.
Yeah,
and took fifth from the qualifier.
The qualifier, I know.
And I remember that. I remember Kevin beat Derek Ulson to get in. He beat Ulson and Case Beer. I remember Miles Evans and Topple from the qualifier took 5th. That was just, and I remember Ty Tremblay had a game that finished 33-31 against Adam Roberts and Lawrence, him and Brad Keenan. It was just a fun thing to attend, you know. And Kelly was more of a beach person than I was back then. I was an indoor purist, but thanks to people like you, man. And by the way, thanks for playing with Kelly, dude. I remember you played a scrimmage game with Kelly and Betsy, and like Kelly's really good at adapting to the level. Like if you guys play high level, take care of first and second hit, she looks like one of you guys. Right? If it's a bad game, it's a bad game. So that was really fun. And I appreciate this. And I appreciate you, Ali. Okay?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. Guys, Ali McColloch might love you guys, but me, I don't love you guys. In fact, I can't stand any of you. In fact, I'm out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads or iPhones or Droids, if those still exist, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world? Old school. It's here. It's right there. So this is Ali McColloch. I am Jason DeBillius. This is episode 291 of the Option Podcast. Stay with me, Ali. We're going to hit my music, but for everybody else, we're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NYvarsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.